This story is said to be a real paranormal event that took place in Tennessee, USA in 2013. The main figure in this terrifying experience was a 32-year-old woman named Sarah, who lived alone. After the incident, Sarah's life was never the same. Sarah decided to move to a quiet town in Tennessee to escape her hectic work life and the noise of the big city. She rented a small, historic house. The house, built in the 1920s, was located quite close to the center of the town. Excited about starting her new life, Sarah began settling into the house. Although the house was old, it had a warm atmosphere. The creaking wooden floors and the scent of antique furniture gave Sarah a nostalgic sense of comfort. A few days after moving in, Sarah started having trouble sleeping at night. At first, she thought it was just the stress of the move, but she began noticing something strange in the air when she woke up during the night. Occasionally, she felt as if someone was breathing in her bedroom, yet there was no one around. As these occurrences became more frequent, Sarah dismissed them as psychological exhaustion and didn't take them seriously. One night at exactly 2:47 a.m., everything changed. Sarah was in a deep sleep when she suddenly woke up. The room was completely dark and the air was cold. However, this coldness was unlike anything she had felt before. It was a bone-chilling, unexplainable cold. She felt a weight at the foot of her bed. At first, she thought it was just a nightmare, but as she moved her eyes, she noticed a figure in the corner of the room. The figure was barely visible in the darkness. At first glance, she thought it was her imagination, but then she heard a whisper. The whisper was chilling enough to freeze her entire body. "You need to get me out of here," it repeated. Sarah realized the voice belonged to a woman, but she didn't recognize it. Her breathing became faster, and her heart was pounding. She tried to scream, but no sound came out of her mouth. Suddenly, the figure leaned towards Sarah. The cold air became heavier and she felt pressure on her chest. At that moment, Sarah understood she was not alone in the room. She closed her eyes and started praying, but the figure didn't disappear. Instead, she heard another sentence: "I'm still here." In the morning, Sarah found herself lying on the floor of her bedroom. She had a terrible headache and was horrified as she remembered the events of the night before. However, the bruises on her arm proved that what she experienced wasn't just a dream. The bruises were clearly shaped like fingerprints. That day, she got ready for work, but she couldn't shake off the fear. Throughout the week, Sarah couldn't sleep at all. Every night when she lay in bed, she felt the same coldness and believed she saw shadows moving in her room. However, what happened one particular night was far worse than anything she had experienced before. At 2:47 a.m. again, Sarah woke up. This time, her bedroom door had opened on its own. When she looked through the crack of the door into the hallway, she saw a silhouette in the darkness. The figure was slowly approaching her. Sarah tried to get out of bed and run, but her body was completely paralyzed. The silhouette sat on the edge of her bed and leaned in close to her, whispering, "Don't forget me." After hearing these words, Sarah lost consciousness. The next morning, Sarah didn't go to work. Concerned by her absence, a coworker called the police. When officers arrived at the house, they found Sarah unconscious in her bedroom. She was immediately taken to the hospital. Doctors suggested that Sarah might have experienced a sudden panic attack or nervous breakdown. However, no one could explain the bruises on her body. Sarah remained unconscious for 3 days in the hospital. When she finally woke up, the first thing she said was, "They're still here. They're watching me." Her words unsettled the doctors and nurses. Following the incident, Sarah underwent intensive psychological treatment, yet the events had permanently changed her life. After the incident, the house's history was investigated. During the research, it was discovered that the house had been built on farmland in the 1920s. The original owner of the land had been accused of being involved in the disappearance of a woman. However, her body was never found. Paranormal investigators believe the voice Sarah heard and the shadows she saw might have belonged to the spirit of this missing woman. Today, Sarah refuses to talk about what happened. However, she has never been able to recover from its effects. The house remains vacant and is avoided by everyone in the town. Locals prefer to keep their distance from it,